For as long as humanity has existed, the moon has been our silent companion. Its silver glow in the night sky has sparked myths, inspired dreams, and driven countless generations to question what lies beyond. For centuries, it remained an unreachable symbol of wonder and mystery. And yet, on July 20th, 1969, that mystery was unlocked. When American astronaut Neil Armstrong made his historic first step onto the lunar surface, humanity's most audacious dream became a reality. The moon, once a distant and unreachable world, was now a part of our collective history. That moment, etched into the memories of millions, signified the culmination of the original space race, a race defined by intense political rivalry, scientific innovation, and the desire to showcase national superiority during the height of the Cold War. The United States triumphed, landing not just on the moon, but in the hearts of people across the globe. But what seemed like the final frontier for space exploration was merely the beginning. And in the decades that followed, space exploration began to lose its once thrilling urgency. But today, as the 21st century unfolds, the race to the moon is far from over. In fact, it has only just begun. And at the center of this renewed competition is China. From a quiet corner of the Earth, China has risen as a formidable new player in space exploration, challenging established powers and reshaping the future of the moon and beyond. With ambitious plans to return to the moon and establish a permanent human presence, China is not just pursuing exploration. It is preparing for the next chapter in humanity's story, a chapter that will be written in the stars. The space race of the mid-20th century was a rivalry for the ages, a dramatic contest between the United States and the Soviet Union that captivated the world. The stakes were high, driven by geopolitics, technological feats, and the desire to demonstrate global dominance. The launch of Sputnik in 1957 by the Soviet Union marked the beginning of this intense race, with both superpowers scrambling to demonstrate their capabilities in space. In 1961, Soviet cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin made history as the first human to orbit Earth, setting the stage for the ultimate challenge, landing a human on the moon. The US answered the challenge with Apollo 11, and with Neil Armstrong's famous step onto the moon, the space race reached its zenith. The space program brought with it incredible scientific advancements, from the development of new technologies to the collection of lunar samples that would fuel decades of study. But after Apollo 17 in 1972, the moon fell silent. No nation returned for more than 4 decades. As the decades passed, space exploration shifted focus from lunar ambitions to deeper space missions and satellite technologies. But as the 21st century began, a new player entered the stage. China, under the leadership of its National Space Administration, CNSA, began its steady march toward the stars. What started with small but significant satellite launches in the 1990s rapidly grew into a space program capable of feats once thought unimaginable. The turning point came in 2013, when China successfully launched Chang'e 3, its first lunar rover. A massive achievement, Chang'e 3 made China only the 3rd country in history to land a spacecraft on the moon. But beyond the technical triumph, Chang'e 3 marked a turning point for China, one that signaled the beginning of an ambitious, multi-phase plan to dominate the next generation of space exploration. Then came Chang'e 4, a mission that stunned the world and proved that China's lunar ambitions were more than just an afterthought. In 2019, Chang'e 4 became the first spacecraft in history to land on the far side of the moon. Unlike the near side, which always faces Earth, the far side is shielded from direct communication with our planet. The challenge of landing and operating in such an environment was immense. Yet China's answer to this challenge was revolutionary. The Keiqiao relay satellite launched into orbit to ensure that Chang'e 4 could communicate with Earth. And in 2020, China accomplished yet another historic feat, Chang'e 5. This mission was a game changer, as it became the first in more than 40 years to bring lunar samples back to Earth. These samples, now being studied, will offer crucial insights into the composition of the Moon and the processes that shaped it. It's a landmark achievement, not only for China but for the entire scientific community, as it opens a new chapter in our understanding of the Moon and its potential for future exploration. These milestones are just the beginning. For China, the Moon represents more than just a scientific curiosity. It is a critical piece in a much broader, long-term vision. The lunar surface offers an unparalleled platform for developing new technologies, conducting experiments in the harshest conditions, and preparing for the next phase of human exploration, Mars, and eventually the outer reaches of the solar system. China's vision for the Moon extends beyond exploration. Its ultimate goal is to establish a permanent human presence on the lunar surface. By the 2030s, China aims to send astronauts back to the Moon, not for short visits, but for extended stays. This lunar base will serve as the foundation for advanced research and as a springboard for future missions to Mars and beyond. The Moon's strategic location makes it an ideal base for interplanetary exploration. The low-gravity environment allows for efficient spacecraft launches, and the presence of key resources such as water ice makes it possible to sustain human life. China's lunar base would not only advance our understanding of space, but also prepare humanity for a future beyond Earth. In fact, China's lunar base will serve as a testing ground for resource extraction, with a focus on mining the Moon's resources. Lunar regolith, for example, could be used to produce construction materials, while water ice could provide life support and even fuel for deep space missions. In this way, China is positioning itself to lead the way in space resource utilization, a crucial step toward the future sustainability of human space exploration. China's rapid rise as a space power comes with geopolitical implications. Space is no longer just about technological superiority. It is increasingly about economic influence and global leadership. With every successful mission, China's position in the international space arena strengthens, challenging the established space powers, particularly the United States. While China and the US have cooperated on certain aspects of space exploration, the competition between the two nations in space is undeniable. With the advent of China's advanced lunar missions, the question of leadership in space and the control of resources on the Moon has become a new frontier of global diplomacy. Yet, there are also new opportunities for cooperation. China has signed agreements with Russia to build a lunar base together, signaling the possibility of a new era of collaboration on the Moon. As more nations turn their attention to lunar exploration, the Moon may become not a place of division, but one of global cooperation, though challenges remain. The race to the Moon is no longer simply a question of who gets there first. It is a race to secure humanity's future beyond Earth, to explore, to mine, and to build the infrastructure necessary to sustain life across the stars. China's ambitions for the Moon are part of a much larger vision, a vision that includes Mars, deep space exploration, and the eventual settlement of other worlds. As China builds its lunar base, its ambitions stretch far beyond our closest celestial neighbor. It is preparing for the future of humanity, a future where the Moon is not just a symbol of national achievement, but a thriving hub of human activity. It is preparing for a future where the stars are within reach. For China, this is not merely about exploration. It is about securing resources, advancing technology, and positioning itself as a leader in the next great era of human progress. And in this new space race, the moon is just the beginning. The moon has always been a symbol of the unknown, but now it is within our grasp. And as China leads the charge, it will not just be the first to return. It will help chart humanity's future in space. The journey has only just begun, and the possibilities are limitless.